In 1991, a teen, man, she was almost 20, she was 19 years old, she disappeared from Macon, Georgia. For decades, her case remained cold. They did have one suspect who they interviewed several times, but he had an alibi that checked out. He's gone now too. Seemingly, the only people who continued to think about this missing Macon teenager was her family. And then, in October of 2018, all of a sudden, the Macon Police Department finally made an arrest on the case, and the family members started getting some answers. So we're going to talk about it today, the whole story. Today we're in Macon, Georgia, and we're talking about the 1991 disappearance of Sabrina Long. As I said in the intro, today we're trying to figure out what happened to Sabrina Long. For starters now, Sabrina, like I said, she was 19 years old. She was fresh out of high school. She graduated from Southwest High School here in Macon. In August of 91, her mother and her stepfather, who she was very close with and had known her whole life, they got divorced. Sabrina began to have attitude issues with her mom, and she became somewhat disrespectful. Her mom, in an attempt to try to fix that, told her that she needed to get out. She needed to rent her own place, get out on her own, and start paying her own bills. Sabrina's mom's name is Sue Corley, and she says she was attempting some tough love with Sabrina. After Sabrina moved out, their relationship did get better because of it. Sabrina started working at Bib Manufacturing Company here in Macon. Now, Bib Manufacturing, it went out of business and closed down in 1996. This building that you see behind me, this is all that's left of that manufacturing company. This is it. This actually started, the manufacturing company actually opened in the 1800s, and like I said, they went out of business. They closed down in 1996. But this is all that's remaining. This one lone building here with the windows boarded up and busted out, this was Bib Manufacturing. Now, while Sabrina was working here, she worked the second shift, which means she came in the early afternoon and she got off late. During this time, she had yet to get a place of her own, so she was actually staying with her stepfather, who lived right here off of Ashland Drive in Macon. On August the 13th of 1991, Sabrina completed her work shift here at the Bib Manufacturing Company around 11 p.m. That particular day, her truck was not working, so she had driven her boyfriend's Camaro to work here. When she got off, she drove to her boyfriend's house, and then he brought her back here to her stepfather's place off Ashland Drive, and he dropped her off and then left right after. According to police, and they have not said how they know this information, but they know that after she got home, after her boyfriend dropped her off, she sat down and watched the Arsenio Hall show, and then she wrote a 3-page note to her boyfriend apologizing for an argument that they were having, and in that note she promised to cook him lasagna on the evening of the 15th, 2 days from then. At 12:30 a.m., which would have been the night of the 13th and early in the morning on the 14th, at 12:30 was early morning 14th, she called her mom and said that a person who she had gone to school with, who was a neighbor of hers, or relatively close. He actually lived right around the corner here on Greenleaf. She called her mom with instructions to call her in 30 minutes. This neighbor, Keith Lloyd, wanted her to come over and help him with a gift for his mother. And she wanted her mom to call her in 30 minutes because she told her mom that, well, something just didn't seem right about it. Something felt off. Something felt strange about it. So she wanted her mom to call, and you know, it was possibly to get her out of that situation too, so she didn't get stuck in conversation or whatever she felt was off about it. Her mom told her flat out, she said, "No, I'm going to sleep." She said, "We will just have to talk tomorrow morning." Sue Corley never heard from Sabrina again. Later in the night, about 3:30 a.m., Sabrina's stepfather came home from work. When he got home, Sabrina was already gone. He said sometimes she stayed with her boyfriend, and it wasn't unusual for her to not be there when he got in. He said that all the lights were on in the house. He said Sabrina's work clothes were laying on the floor in her bedroom. So he just assumed that that's where she was. Now, you have to remember, this is 1991. We did not have cell phones yet. The internet was just becoming available to people.
You've got mail.
Communicating like we do now was unthinkable. It was unheard of at that time. At that time, people just assumed you were where you were and that you were okay, and it was a lot different time than what it is now. Like I said, her stepfather assumed that she was at her boyfriend's house, but that all changed on the morning of the 15th, the following morning. Early that morning, Sabrina's boyfriend came and he knocked on her stepfather's door looking for her. Her stepfather answered, said, "No, I haven't seen her. I thought she was with you." Then the family immediately started searching for her. Of course, the stepfather called Sabrina's mom. Then they started calling other family members. They came here to her job at the Bib Manufacturing company, and they said that she missed her shift on the 14th, the day prior, that she didn't show up, she didn't call, and it was payday. She didn't even come in and pick up her paycheck. It was then that the panic started setting in. So they called the police and reported her missing. The Macon Police Department canvassed this whole neighborhood. No one saw anything. They followed up on every lead that they got. They interviewed everyone that they could think of, and it led nowhere. The case went cold very quickly. Her mom obviously told police everything that they had discussed the last time she talked to her about. She was going over to Keith Lloyd's house and to help him with a present. Blah, blah, blah. They talked to Lloyd. He had an alibi. He said he was out on the town with his girlfriend that night, and she confirmed it. The case pretty much stalled from that point. 1 year after Sabrina went missing, her stepfather came home from work to a voicemail on his answering machine.
"Hey, it's Sabrina. Please help me."
Well, that set everyone into a panic mode. That set everyone, they were going nuts. Sabrina had been missing for a year. Then they get this call saying, "Please help me." Sabrina's stepfather immediately picked up the phone and called Sabrina's mom. She ran over to the stepfather's house as fast as she could to hear this voicemail. And immediately, as soon as they started playing it, the mom said, "No, that's not her. That doesn't sound like her at all. It was someone, a troll, playing a hoax song." Over the next few years, several of other rumors started popping up here and there, and they were all debunked or proven to be just trolls messing with the family, which is crazy to me. What kind of a person do you have to be to mess with a family whose daughter has disappeared? They have no idea where. I just don't get it. But the same reason I don't get the trolls on the internet who, because they're behind a keyboard, they act differently than what they. At any rate, we're not here to talk about trolls. During all this time, Sabrina's mom, she was consistently arguing back and forth with this Keith Lloyd, the neighbor whose house she was supposedly going to. Now, Sabrina says she was going over to Keith Lloyd's house to help him with a gift, and every time he denies it all. He says that never happened, that she never came to his house, nor was there ever any plan for her to come to his house. He had no clue where that was coming from. He had an alibi. They brought him in for a polygraph test. He passed. He actually passed. Over the years, they had him take multiple different polygraph tests, and he passed them all. Again, the night that it happened, he claimed that he was out on the town with his girlfriend, whose name was Melinda Mcwain. She confirmed that alibi. He passed the polygraph test. There was nothing else they could do. So nothing else happened on the case for more than a decade. Nothing happened at all. It just sat there cold. No remains were ever found. All the police detectives had moved on, and the news agencies in the area moved on to other stories. It stayed in the back of their mind, but the only people that didn't give up were Sabrina's family. They never gave up looking for her. Decades later, their persistence paid off. In 2017, new Georgia Bureau of Investigation agents were assigned to this case, and they reopened this cold case. They called Keith Lloyd to come in for an interview, and he agreed to it. But when his appointment time came, he never showed. Just before he was supposed to go in for his interview, he came right here to these train tracks, and he stepped in front of a train committing suicide. In his pocket, they found a suicide note where he actually confessed to Sabrina's disappearance. He admitted that that night she did come over to his house, and that his girlfriend, Melinda Mcwain, was actually the person responsible for Sabrina's disappearance and death. He wrote that it was all Melinda all those years ago. As soon as Sabrina got there, she took her hostage, and that ultimately led to her being murdered. He wrote that they all went to school together. Melinda, Sabrina, and Keith, they all went to school right here at Southwest High School here in Macon, and that's how they knew each other. Even though they were like a year apart from each other, Melinda and Sabrina, they all knew each other. The police have not released the full suicide note. They did not say what the motive was for kidnapping and killing Sabrina Long. They also refused to say whether or not the suicide note led them to Sabrina's body, or remains rather. The family and the local media have both asked the police on multiple occasions, and they refused to comment on it.
So after all these years, Long's mother has some sort of closure, but we still don't know if investigators have found Long's remains. That's a question that GBI, Bibb County Sheriff's Office, and District Attorney's Office will not answer.
Something he wrote in his suicide note gave them either a bunch of evidence or information or something, because right after Keith Lloyd's suicide, the Macon Police Department arrested Melinda Mcwain and charged her for Sabrina's disappearance and murder. That actually, them charging Melinda Mcwain right after Lloyd's death, it actually led many people to believe that, Keith Lloyd's guilty conscience was eating him alive. And when they called after all these years and told him they needed him to come in for another interview, he couldn't take it anymore. So he wrote that suicide note telling police that Melinda did it. Many people believe that he, in the suicide note, he told them where they could find the remains, and then he went and stepped in front of a train. Now, of course, that's just a general consensus. We don't know that to be true. We don't know if they found any remains or not. They refuse to say. They haven't denied it, but they haven't said that they have found her remains either. Just when they're asked about it, they just say, we're not going to comment. So it's kind of weird. Now, Melinda Mcwain has been in the Macon County Jail since October of 2018, waiting for her trial. In February of 2019, she actually tried to get a bond hearing, but they obviously have whatever was in that suicide note led them to something that gave them a bunch of good evidence, because Melinda trying to get bond was immediately denied. The Macon newspaper, the local newspaper here in Macon, reported that Melinda Mcwain confessed to police that she was involved in Sabrina's murder. But the Macon newspaper, which is actually the Macon Telegraph is the name of it, that's the only source that I could find for that information, that Melinda admitted that she had something to do with it. I couldn't find any other source on that. The police nor the GBI have verified that she confessed to it. But obviously the newspaper got that information from somewhere, and I would assume that it's probably unlikely that they just made that up out of thin air. So she's been in jail for 2 years, which means her trial should be coming up sometime here in the very near future. So I would definitely keep you all updated if any new info comes available. At least, though, after 29 years, they have some kind of closure. They know Sabrina's no longer living in this world. They know who killed Sabrina Long, and that justice is being served. But still, to go that long without knowing anything must have been horrible for him. Must have been absolutely just gut-wrenching. That is going to do it for today, and the story of Sabrina Long, her disappearance from right here in Macon, Georgia. I will keep you updated, and I will let you know what's going on with that. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you're new here, go down, click that subscribe button, take it a step further, hit that notification bell icon. That way you get notified every time I upload a video. If you want to help support the channel, you can check out the links in the description box below for that as well. It's always much appreciated. I can't thank you enough. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. I actually have another true crime story coming up next that is a major national story that is also gut-wrenching, much like this one was. At any rate, thank you all. I'll see you tomorrow. Please stay safe and stay healthy. Much love to you all. And God bless Sabrina's family.